we could not do this without these partnerships. Seven Hills is also another fantastic partner of ours, because this is not a free event for us to host. We've got video, photography, and food, and all the things. And so with these amazing partners, we really, really appreciate it. And then we also have Big Kitty Labs. Big Kitty Labs is another partner of ours, and they're building out our website, so we have a home base. So that way our e-newsletter is not a mile long, because we send that out right now, it's a mile long. And being able to understand, that as well. And then NextGen is also sponsoring this month for us as well. They've got some fantastic things that they want to share. I'm going to let them do their justice with John and Summer and what's going on with what we're building. And then Tracy Gruberg here as well from the circuit is sponsoring us for a couple of months as well. We're really, really grateful for that. And she's going to also share as well. But just a round of applause for all our sponsors to help us make this happen. All right, we always want to know who's in the room, right? So you filled out a little tag and you said you're an AI curious, AI user, or AI builder. So where are my AI curious? All right, good, awesome. And my AI users? That's everyone, by the way, just so you know, that's everyone. You're already using Amazon and Netflix, right? And where are my builders? Yes, look at that. Builders, keep your hand up. Those that are curious and AI users and AI curious, these are your new best friends, right? So make sure and reach out and meet these people while we're in the room today. What I also want to know is how many of us, this is our first time attending a CincyAI Meetup. Wow, thank you, welcome. We are so happy to hear that you're here and being able to participate. This is a fantastic community of so many opportunities and collaboration and learning, and so this is a really safe environment to have a little fun and step outside your comfort zone. I'll be your wing woman if you're here and you're like, I don't know anyone in this room, I got you. So you find me, I will make sure to connect you with someone in this room because there's a really powerful room here. All right, impact and value. We know that there's impact and value happening. So if you pull out your phone and use a little QR code and give us a little bit of feedback about the things that you're learning in this community. Because the community, yes, part of it is being in the room with each other and collaborating with each other, but also the things that we're sharing in our e-newsletter and our LinkedIn group and the community that's happening. Because you're telling Helen and I all the time. You're like, I landed a job because of this. I landed a new client because of this. I have a new partnership because of what you're doing. So if you don't mind filling out real quick the little value impact that you're seeing and achieving through the CincyAI group. Something else. Let's see. Is Ben Nash in here because he said he got a date? Is that the something else? You guys getting dates in this room? Awesome.
And we're also
go ahead, please. Yeah, we also are going to use this for the Q&A portion. What we've heard from you all, and we always listen to any feedback you have. You're like, I have questions, but I don't want to raise my hand and ask the question publicly. So we're going to have this up when we go to the Q&A session where you can submit your questions, because this is a really, really smart room, and someone in here will be able to answer that for you as well. All right. Thank you so much for playing along. I appreciate it. And that's something else. You guys are going to have to tell Helen and I what that is. Let us know. All right, expectations, right? The flow of the day. So we will have, someone, a representative from UC, kind of share, Michael shared us a real quick little thing that he's doing with the crypto, which is so cool. I can't wait to hear about it. And then we're going to move into QuickByte rounds. So QuickByte rounds are just lightning rounds, less than 3 minutes, no slides, no demos. It's just someone standing and sharing a tip, a tool, or asking the community a question. And we love this because we love the diversity of information being shared every single time and seeing what is being built right here in our community and anything we can do to help support you and your efforts as well. And then we'll do Q&A shout outs. So we've got the Q&A where again, we'll pop that up so that way you don't have to raise your hand and feel awkward asking the question. And then shout outs. This is really from one of our community members, Jeff in the back. Hi, Jeff. did this one of our sessions, and I just thought it was brilliant. He's like, hey, can I just shout some people out that did some amazing things in this room? I'm like, yes, please. We want more of that. So thank you for bringing that up, Jeff. That was all you. And then group photo. Group photo is always like herding cats. What we'll do when we finish, we literally will say, all right, group photo, and we need you all to get up and go immediately to that wall. And we're going to just take a quick photo, and then we'll release you to do all the collaborating and networking and your little heart desires. So once we do that group photo, everyone jump up and go directly to that wall. It moves really, really fast. And then right after, is anyone going to the Maker's Mark event across the street at 1819 right after this event? All right, we'll tell you a little bit more about that. Yeah, I saw a couple of buildings. I'm down, Maker's Mark, hello. I know Matt's been there several times. I know a couple of our community members have been there several times, and it's so fun. It is AI as well. Pete, you're doing some songs, I think, through AI over in Maker's Mark?
I guess so.
I guess so. Have anyone in here played both Sono, S-U-N-O? Yeah, the music tool? Yeah, it is so cool. So Pete is been generating all these amazing, he and Michael have been generating all these amazing songs. So they're going to do a little collaboration with AI-generated music with the Maker's Mark as well. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to my awesome host. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we really look forward to hearing all the incredible things that you're doing in our community.
For this session of our section on responsible AI, I have my digital clone to kick this off. And Kendra and I also did not introduce ourselves, so I'll do that afterwards. Hello and welcome to May's CincyAI Meetup. It's my honor to be here, especially because I am not human. I'm an ethically created AI clone of Helen Todd, who is the first resident of Cincinnati to clone herself with a hyper-realistic avatar. She's one of your co-hosts today alongside Kendra Ramirez. CincyAI is an important node in the region's AI ecosystem alongside the University of Cincinnati and its incredible digital futures building, the Cincinnati AI Catalyst Consortium, and all of you who are here today. We all share a vision for AI to uplift the entire region rooted in human-centered, responsible AI where the tide lifts all ships. Now, for why you've gathered here at the amazing UC Digital Futures Building. CincyAI is the largest AI meetup in the region. Whether this is your first time attending or your 8th, welcome. Thank you for being part of this dynamic community where the whole is not just greater, but exponential in its impact. With that, I'll let my human counterpart take the mic. Enjoy. Yes. So my name is Helen Todd. I saved all day. This is my hyper-realistic clone, Helen 2.odd. And if you find me on LinkedIn, this is why I have human by my name, because there's two of me, the human Helen and then my digital clone that we put to work. And sometimes we have her introduce Kendra and I, because we're not the best at introducing ourselves. So just so you know who we are, Kendra has, been in digital consulting with her company, KR Digital, for 20 years, has been working with AI for 10, 15 years, since 2018. And she's a best-selling author of LinkedIn Voice, did 50 talks on AI last year, and is an incredible voice here in Cincinnati, and is also part of the AI Catalyst group, which you'll hear more about from Carl, who will do an update. And then my name is Helen Todd. I have a social media agency, and also Creativity Squared, which is a podcast that explores the intersection of AI and creativity. I've interviewed a lot of amazing folks, both here from the University of Cincinnati, but also the head of comms for Google DeepMind, the head of Adobe's Content Authenticity Initiative, the head of programming of South by Southwest. So everything AI and creativity. So with that, just to give you some context of who we are and why we're here. But we're really excited to, as my clone said, be part of the burgeoning AI community here in Cincinnati. And one thing we're also going to do today is last time I gave my updates from going to South by Southwest to some of the learnings, and we have a cohort that got to go to MIT's AI conference or summit, what was that, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago now, to share out some of the learnings. Cincinnati got a lot of shout outs at the conference, which was really great. It was more or less the East and West Coast represented, and then we had, I think, about 10 people from Cincinnati, which is really great in terms of putting us on the map. And then we also have Tom Jones here, who ran the AMA Ignite and had a bunch of people on stage talk about AI, and he'll give us a quick update as well. One thing I want to point out, especially since we have so many new people here, until we have our website built, the best place to get information about these AI meetups is our newsletter. If you signed up through Eventbrite, your email will automatically be ported, well, manually. I don't know if we did this yet, but manually ported over and be added to our newsletter. And in our newsletter, I just wanted to go over a few quick things. There's always links to our next meetups. Our June 4th one is already open. The Maker's Mark, you can RSVP here. I think this month, everything was covered by our sponsors, which is amazing. We also asked for donations through Eventbrite to cover some of the gaps. Accessibility is super important, and keeping these free and accessible to anyone who comes. So it's a community effort from our sponsors and everyone who can contribute. We appreciate it. If you scroll down, you can sign up for Kendra's newsletter. She's all about simplifying things, and she has the most comprehensive list on her website of all upcoming AI events in the region. We have a LinkedIn group and directory. Those are all linked here as well. If you're on your desktop, oh, this is the other thing. It's not up here, but if you see it in your email, there's a link at the top right that's like view in browser, and it won't be truncated because I know it's long. We have all of the event photos here. You're welcome to download them. We also film this, so if there's a speaker or something you want to go back to, you're welcome to do that and share out. We have the UC Digital Futures updates of everything going on, and then we also have the community news and update section as well. If you have anything that you would like submitted for us to consider, join our LinkedIn group. There's a post. Just go into the comments and be like, this is an event that I think would add value to the Cincy AI community, and we'll add it here. There's also resources from the community. What was it? Last time, Mike did a presentation before we got started of AI in sales. Those slides are up there, along with a ton of other great resources from the community and in the Cincinnati area. And then also a little culture section. I got to interview Salvador Dali, the AI recruited chatbot version, which is a very fun interview that's linked here too. And all of the dates for all upcoming CincyAI Meetups are here. And once we release, which is about a month out of when to sign up, those are all in the newsletter too. And of course, if you're interested in sponsoring or giving us feedback, as Kendra said, we are here for you. So if there's any suggestions or programming or anything that you would like to see, let us know, and we'll do our best to accommodate it. Okay, so back to the slides. We're going to do, well, John's going to do it at the end. Is Tom here? I don't think I actually saw Tom. Tom, we're going to come on down. Tom is going to give us a quick update on some of the key takeaways from the Ignite AMA conference. And one thing that he has shared at previous meetings, if you didn't know this, the AMA is the American Marketing Association, and the Cincinnati one was voted the best chapter in all of the country, so we're very proud of that. Yes.
Thank you, that's all. I'm going to stand here, it's easier. If it's easier, testimony too. Hey, we're going to talk about Ignite 2024, which was our customer experience conference presented by the American Marketing Association. I'm sorry, the #1 chapter in the country, American Marketing Association. It's a pretty big deal. We also won Volunteer of the Year of the hundreds of thousands of members of the AMA across the country. I rode up with last year's Volunteer of the Year and this year's Volunteer of the Year, all from Cincinnati. It's kind of cool. Anyway, here's what we're here to talk about. AI and the customer experience. And the reason why we went that route is that you can get a variety of AI webinars and seminars across the board to talk about some of the individual tools. like journey mapping, customer journey mapping, and omni-channel experience. And what we worked for a little bit larger picture. So we went with 5 key concepts: understanding AI marketing, AI in the customer data analysis, personalization in the customer experience, ethical consideration and responsible AI, and that was a lot of fun, success stories and cautionary tales. And maybe you've heard of some of the people in the room. We had 17 speakers and panelists this year. Our first session was understanding AI in marketing. And Cincinnati AI Catalyst had a very strong presence there. Carl put together this incredible panel. Pete Blackshaw was our moderator. It doesn't get any better than that unless you had the panel. Carl, Maddie Bell, John Steiger. How do I say that name? It's Kendra Ramirez. Kendra Ramirez. And key takeaways from the panel that was set to explore and establish Cincinnati regions as the leader in responsible and ethical use of AI. And Maddie Bell, who's co-founder and CEO of Schedule AI. Is her husband here? He shows up enough that I wanted to point him out, but they brought up how marketers get tool fatigue. And I read some online comments of how that really hits home. New tools make me think there's another college graduate I have to train. Those were Maddie's points. But they talked about overall AI in marketing and responsible use. And then we clicked on to AI and customer data analysis. That was done by Christy Stevens and Laura Rice with a scribe. And they went through the intricacies of the quantitative intricacies behind qualitative research. And getting sometimes into using AI to work through the use of text messaging and the meanings behind that. And I always answer, every researcher always asks the same question. What's the algorithm for authenticity? What could AI done differently to prevent, for instance, the 1985 Coke fiasco? And if you don't know about the 1985 Coke fiasco, ask me, I'll talk to you about it. The next we did after AI and marketing, it's personalization of the customer experience. Michael Stick and Helen McDowell of Court Avenue Michael just got off the plane from MIT and drove straight to the conference to the airport. It was amazing. Just to show how Cincinnati is a priority when it comes to AI and marketing. We talked about AI sheets, dynamic message, style, and comparison, and frequency of communications, and advertising to predict and deliver marketing messages that customers didn't even know they wanted. And after that, we had ethical considerations and responsible AI. And some guy named Dr. Kelly Cohen and Aaron Tepler from our AMA affiliate in Denver spoke. Responsible AI involves ensuring that AI systems act ethically, foster moral values, and enable human accountability and understanding. And it was an incredible presentation. And on the other side of that, Aaron Tepler, again from Denver, Colorado, talked about the growing need for AI systems to be explainable, interpretable, especially in critical situations, and kind of like was a counter to everyone else at the conference because he owns an ad agency. He doesn't like the concept of AI being used in the creative process, strictly in the creative process, and relying upon it for the creative process. And we have to understand that where they are in Denver. Here in Cincinnati, we make everything, we sell everything. We sell real estate transactions and soap and all sorts of information. And out in Denver, they make beer. And his concept was he creates creativity. He doesn't like the artificial implications of someone else doing the creativity for him. And it was a lot of debate about that. And then finally, our final presentation was success stories and cautionary tales. Our panelists were from Andy Baum from Town Properties, Jake Whitman from a really good box wine company, Michael Green, project manager from Get Noticed, Get Found, some guy named Jeff Hendrickson, research manager from West Rock Company. He came up with like one of the best mic drop moments. They're talking about their successes and how big and small companies used AI to reach out to the customers in B2B and B2C businesses. And he says, regardless of how to use it, use AI to make yourself more productive. Use AI to save yourself time. And that time that you save, that productivity you save, can be used to focus on the customer. And I think that was a key point. Some of the key points. When it comes to customer experience, AI is the future of how people consume our content and find our businesses. Let's put the customer first, the rest will follow. Marketers need to think beyond tools. How can AI change how we work and move our organization forward? I hope that was 3 minutes. Thank you very much for your time.
And we'll bring John at the end of our QuickBytes round to do the MIT. And on the customer service journey and how AI is impacting search, Pete Blackshaw just did a great post on LinkedIn about his first buyer experience of using ChatGPT instead of Google to synthesize reviews. So I know, we've got a lot of commerce and businesses in Cincinnati and how AI is going to impact search. So I would also recommend that, and we'll put that in our newsletter as well for that. Okay, so some upcoming events. We've got our happy hour today with our community partner, Disrupt Now, and it's also the same team behind Midwest Con. May 9th, which is next week, is this week, Diversity in STEM, the Chamber of Commerce. May 14th is AI Rising Conference in Columbus. Tushar from Big Kitty Labs is speaking. June 11th through 13th is CincyAI Week, which you'll hear a lot more about in a little bit. June 11th is NUKU Biz Access AI Bootcamp. July 16th through 18th is Black Tech Week. I'm speaking there, very excited. My clone will come with me. But I went last year for the first time. It's a really excellent conference if you've never been before. And then September 5th and 6th, Midwest Con, also a fantastic conference and definitely recommend, especially we're a community partner with Midwest Con. And then September 10th and 12th is NACON, that's the Marketing AI Institute, their conference in Cleveland. And Kathy, who's their head of marketing, will come down to one of our meetings and do a presentation sometime this summer. Okay, and then 1,000 Zebras is another great community member in Cincinnati that's putting together a marketplace, kind of like, not Facebook, Angie's List of AI providers in the area. So if you're a service provider, a product, or a member and want to connect on the B2B front for AI services, you can sign up here and learn more about that. Okay, so before we do our quick bites, we're going to have Michael from the Digital Futures Building share a little bit about the NFT lab. I don't know if it's called a lab, but what you guys have going on upstairs.
Thanks for the opportunity to present here this afternoon. It's a very last-minute thing. I have a lab up on the second floor. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Jones. I'm an economics professor here in the Little College of Business. And then I also direct the crypto economics lab here. You might be thinking, gosh, I don't want to hear about blockchain technology. That was so 22. It was last year. It's all about AI right now and generative AI. But what I hope to convince you of is that one of the biggest challenges that are facing AI and any business in the AI economy is truth. If we think about the adoption of AI technology, I have to be able to trust it. Helen, I just saw that image of her. She was talking. How do I know that's really her? We saw news articles in the last couple of weeks about a principal at a high school who had an AI video audio recording that was used for making racist comments and other anti-Semitic comments, and he ended up really creating a lot of issues for him because we can't trust what gets created. And so if you have this challenge of what is truth, what I hope to convince you of is that blockchain is a technology, a complementary technology that can help prove the data is true, what's coming out. How are you here today? How do you know you're actually here? You can just show an Outlook invite, you can maybe send an email, all those things can be generated. Now here you see we have a similar issue with how do we know what students say is true? That never happens, right? Students never lie. We never have to doubt what they turn in. And actually just in the last week, Bowling Green State University made an announcement of the largest scholarship in Ohio's history. There were $140 million, and they gave these scholarships to students. But what was different about this scholarship was they said, we want to verify that those students made academic progress. We want to verify that they met community service. So how do we know that the students actually made progress toward their goals? So what we're doing here in the Crypto Economics Lab is we're building technology to verify that those things that students do is actually true. And how do they do that? So here in my hand, I've got a card. This is just a secure NFC chip that's embedded in this card. What I can do is if the student has their phone, they can tap their phone to this card. It's kind of cool, it's kind of metal, it's got my name on it. What happens is when this card gets tapped to the phone, it generates a one-time link that cannot be shared with anybody else. So it's not like a QR code where I can send it to somebody else. It generates this one-time link that pops up, the student logs in and registers that event because I'm holding the actual card with my name on it. Now that data, that event, I've got the time, I've got the location, I can attest to this event happening and I record that event on a blockchain. So now I've got an immutable record that nobody can go back and change that and say, well, I wasn't here. And so what I can do is over time, I can start to build up these attestations. And so these are cards for, say, mentoring. So if I give it to, you're interested in mentoring one of our students, I can give you this card, and now you meet with the student can verify, hey, I did meet with Helen, she gave me some cool advice. We're going to put these devices in office hours with professors. We're going to put them in, hopefully, nonprofits in the community. So right now, when you see students go in and volunteer, they have to fill out a form. They fill out a form that says, hey, here's an email address that you can send it to. Sometimes it gets followed up and sometimes it doesn't. But what if you can just walk in to that nonprofit, the food bank, maybe some other location, just tap your phone to it. The students always have their phone, right? They never get rid of it. So now I've got an attestation, I got a record that this actually occurred at a particular location, at a particular time. Now I can start to accrue all these events, and this is really pretty cool if I can start to attest to the number of hours that those volunteer students have. And now if I make this publicly verifiable, publicly viewable, what if you're a company in the community that you want to reward students? Well, we actually create these wallets, we create them automatically, and now any company can reward those students right there instantaneously once they achieve those certain number of community hours. Or if they verify that you met with so many mentors, how about the donor can get real-time insights on how their money is being used? So I'll just share that. It says quick, that was 3 minutes. Those are some of the things that we're building here at UC. Went through the venture lab, went through it's being patented, startup companies being created. So if you're at all interested in this, if maybe you're a mentor or you think this is something that would be useful in your nonprofit or your place of work, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you more about it. Thank you again for this invitation, and hopefully I can talk with some of you afterwards.
Thank you. We're very proud of our partnership with the UC Digital Futures Building. One thing that he said on stage last week is we really think the University of Cincinnati can be for what Carnegie Mellon was for Pittsburgh or MIT after the Industrial Revolution. At the MIT AI Summit event, the organizer there made a point to say why MIT was established. It was a response to the Industrial Revolution needing applied science applied sciences and engineering, and that was MIT. And as we'll say many times, we're in a very unique position. Dr. Kelly Cohen, our organizing partner who's not here, has been studying, wrote the book Fuzzy Logic, which is part of responsible AI, for 20, 30 years. And then Michael and all the amazing research in this $100 million investment, multidisciplinary building, really is an amazing center of excellence. And I don't think many people, everyone in Cincinnati knows what's going on here, and that's one of the things that we want to do. And for any of the companies, they also partner with businesses and put their grad students and engineers at work for less cost if you want to product test or proof test anything. And then also Dr. A.B. Collison, who's on my show, does moral reasoning leadership training for businesses, which I'm now a big advocate for because we need more moral reasoning, especially to builders when they're building, to nip all of the potential issues with AI in the bud as early as possible. So that's my plug for UC and Cincinnati. Okay, so we're going to move to the QuickBytes round. It will be kind of similar, where our speakers will get 3 minutes. You can ask a question to the community, you can share an AI tip or tool, or share what AI solution you are building. And our first person up is Griffin.
How you doing, guys? My name is Griffin Burris. I'm a born and raised Cincinnati man. Graduated from Mason High School, for those of you who know where that is. After high school, I wanted to get the heck out of Cincinnati and get as far away as possible. Went to San Diego State University to get my sales degree. Little did I know that COVID was going to hit and pretty much ruin everything. Did not get to finish. I transferred back to Cincinnati and actually tagged on about 3 more years at the University of Cincinnati because of transfer credits. But silver lining, I got to graduate as a Bearcat this past April of 2023, so officially graduated as a marketing degree, and pretty much in October of this last year, just started my first big boy job at Eliason Group. And what we do is IT talent solutions, and I'm not going to be like every other agency and say we're great at everything. We really, our core strengths are cybersecurity and data analytics. And pretty much with that, I'll get into how Eliason Group has been leveraging AI. Like I said, I'm AI curious, but I'm also a little bit of a user. Not as good as the devs, sorry. But in the last year, internally, Eliason Group has essentially developed an AI tool. Okay, so I'm in sales. So me and my sales team can use this AI tool, and let's say I have a meeting with a client coming up. I can give this tool all the conversations that I've had in the past with this particular client. I'll say, here's what I want to get across, and here's some problems I might encounter in this meeting. It'll say, okay, I have all this information, and it'll pretty much give me a mock virtual meeting, exactly how this meeting would go with my client, and run it. So essentially, I can be fully prepared to get in front of clients without having to, go up to my directors, borrow their time, or borrow any more of the client's time. It makes life extremely easier for me and my team. And then, for recruiters, they can input resumes in this and have it come out without pretty much skewing the data. I feel like that's a huge problem recruiters have to deal with now. Is everyone wants to latch on to this tone that the hiring manager wants, but it's hard to do that without actually skewing the data of the resume. So these recruiters will put in that information and it'll pop out the tone that the hiring manager wants, but without skewing the actual data. So it's pretty interesting. This is a little bit just what we've been working on at the company. So very excited to be here. I want to thank Kendra and Helen both for letting us just come here, putting this together. It's huge, and we can't appreciate it enough. So thank you very much.
Jeff Bittner, Brain Trust. Come on down.
Hey everybody, my name is Jeff Bittner. My cohort over there. I'm also a Cincinnati raised young man from over on the west side, and I was actually one of the brave few that broke the 75-9, and I now live over on the east side. And if you're from Cincinnati, you know how rare that is, right? So, grew up here. My family is a bunch of small business owners. Had the opportunity growing up that when you were 13 in my family, and you were a boy, that was just the way it was for my grandpa, you were cheap manual labor at the job site. And so I worked construction all my summers. And during that time, I had a chance to sit on the back porch with my grandpa as he did different mentor sessions and consulting sessions with local businesses. I didn't really understand what any of that was at the time, but what I learned through that was what servant leadership really was. I never charged any of these people for this. I learned about what it was to ethically build your business, and when I ended up graduating college, I decided to go into small business consulting because of my grandfather. And so I spent 15 years there working with small local businesses, and during that time I got to work with 3 of the grandchildren of guys that sat on my grandpa's back porch that he worked with. So it was a very cool kind of full circle event. And I spent 15 years in that space, and 5 years ago I transitioned to Brain Trust. I got brought over because Brain Trust is a company that trains on communication for sales, leadership, and coaches in the enterprise space only. So when I came on board, I said, well, the stuff that we do here in the neuroscience space is awesome. Why don't we allow small businesses to have access to this content as well? And so we spent the last several years developing a full program for training small business and solopreneurs on how to communicate using neuroscience and actually understanding what's happening in the brains of the people that you're speaking with, whether it's a client or a prospect or VC or whoever it is. And as we built out that piece, there was a component to it that was a little bit of a bottleneck for us. And it's one of the key pieces that we train these large companies in, and it takes kind of a few hours to train them on this. And when we did it for the small business, it was not working the way we wanted to. So I was introduced to a gentleman named Matthew Terry, who's a part of this team here. He's a local dev, builds AI, and he and I spent the last 9 months working. We partnered, and he created a program for us inside of our academy that we call our AI Brain Trust Assistant. And it takes what used to be a 2-hour process for users and turn it into a 6-minute exercise. And so that AI tool, what he created and what we partnered with, has been invaluable for us. The feedback's been amazing. And so for those of you who raised your hand earlier that are the devs and the individuals who are kind of boots on the ground from a user and someone who doesn't do that, thank you. Because again, what he helped us do, his company's called Suede AI, and it's been huge for us. And so that's what we do, that's what we are, and thanks for the time to share.
Okay, and Tracy. Good afternoon. I'm Tracy Ruberg, the Executive Director of the Circuit. Some of you probably don't know what the Circuit is or what we do, so they've given me permission to use part of my time for that. We are the region's IT industry nonprofit group. Our whole purpose is to raise the technology IQ of our region by bringing you all together, technology professionals all across the whole IT spectrum, so that you can connect and collaborate with each other. We do that in a whole variety of ways. I'm not going to give you all of them right now, but a couple that would be of particular interest to you. We do have a senior leader peer-to-peer circle. Sorry, no vendors allowed in that one because they talk about y'all. Emerging leader group, they do allow the vendors in that one because that group recognizes that we all need to learn and they all respect that. So we do have this emerging leaders group. Those folks that are team leads, they're up and comers, they may have been managing or not, they get together, peer-to-peer group. We have a 10-month IT Leadership Institute training program because we recognize that there's a lot of great leadership training in the city, but the IT folks weren't being put into those programs. So we created one that is strictly for IT professionals that is available. It kicks off in October. So hopefully you can pass that on. But with respect to AI, I'm really excited to say that one of the things we want to do in order to raise the technology IQ is to help continue to bring this group together. And we are launching what we're calling the proving ground, where ideas meet reality. There's lots of great things happening with AI. Many of you, like we just heard, have solid experience that you can point to. There's a whole lot of people out there that are going, I know I need to do this AI thing. I don't know how to start. I think this is my use case. So we are going to be running an opportunity to have you submit your AI use cases to us in the June timeframe. We, as a nonprofit, are going to fund up to $50,000, and we have a number of partners who are jumping in and contributing dollars and development in order to take the best use case that we find and actually create the proof of concept and share all of those results back to all of you. So keep your eyes and ears open. One of our partners is Kendra. A couple others are in the room. We're finalizing our agreements with them. You'll be hearing more, and hopefully when I come back in June, you'll have a couple more weeks to submit your ideas, and we'll have all the partners named down. Thank you very much.
And we will be sure to link to that in our newsletters. Jason.
My name is Jason Rubley. I'm a blind product designer, and for the last 18 months I've been conducting research with blind professionals to understand the hardware and software they use to perform work and to communicate on their job. I found some really interesting things. Blind people love Apple products, but none of them are using them to create content. And really uncovered, what Apple has created, the first universal framework for digital environment accessibility. What Apple understands is that usability and accessibility are the same phenomenon, just at different frequencies, and they arise from the thoughtful consideration of operating system software, hardware, and application software to deliver the following attributes: perceivability, operability, reliability and maintainability, consistency, and interoperability. If you know anything about technology and what all those words mean, that's asking a lot compared to where we're at today, but Most of this stuff is either possible or adjacent possible in terms of perceivability, augmented reality, and advances in haptics are allowing us to spread out interactions across the three major senses, visually, audibly, and haptically. In terms of operability, AI is changing that every day. There are new tools coming out that make operability easier in terms of reliability and maintainability. You can debug software now using artificial intelligence. Consistency, this is the one that's really hard for people, making their products consistent across each other. But there's a lot of exciting stuff with AI with that as well, using machine vision. Everybody's talking about how we're going to be moving from content creation to curation. Well, blind people can't see things, and curation is hard, right? So understanding what are the problems around these self-operating systems for blind people and content curation is an area of interest for me. And if it's an area of interest for you, let's talk. Thanks.
And Corey. I was going to try your last name.
Hi, I'm Corey Bonchi, in the state of here. So I have Nesdo Tech, which is a network security DevOps, that stands for company, which is all around network connectivity, architecture, and security services, consulting services. But the other company I have, which I'm going to talk about today, is a sister company, and I'm co-founder, CEO of Butterfly Junction Technologies, which is an industrial IoT orchestration platform. So think of our two main industries are transportation and utilities. For the transportation space, think of it as you're driving down the highway, you see your dynamic message signs, you have sensors that detect how fast you're going or how slow. You might have license plate readers, there's cameras, there's all kinds of devices that are deployed along the highway to make sure that the traffic continues to move smoothly and that accidents or crashes are less responsible quickly, etc. What we do is we connect all of those things. So in today's space, most of those are actually deployed independently with software that controls each of them independently. And what we do is we tie all of that together. And then the secondary thing on utilities is we would connect anything you can imagine in a campus or in a manufacturing facility, et cetera, all the devices that manage anything within that setting. We provide a single pane of glass view along with the orchestration engine to interrelate, correlate, and manage across all of that. So obviously where AI and machine learning comes in is that we will take all of that data that we're gathering, analyze it for anomalies or trends, and then use that to drive action within that ecosystem against other devices. So my ask of you guys would be, if you operate in that space, I would love to hear your use cases. I would love to hear how you're applying these technologies, and I would love to hear any pain points that you might have for cross-device or cross-ecosystem interaction. Thank you, appreciate it.
And Stephen Shaw from the Lightship Foundation. Going once, going twice, no one's standing up. Okay. Next is Ian from the Alliance Technical Group.
So I'm an AI developer. My history is in enterprise architecture for B2C, B2B companies. I'm currently working with UC to do cancer research using natural language processing to boost individual cancer survivor outcomes. I recently found that I've got a passion for humanitarian projects, and I'd really like to bring powerful AI tools to boost individual outcomes for prediction services for other humanitarian missions. So if you're with a nonprofit and you're thinking about what you're interested in trying with AI, those kind of projects can be done inexpensively, or if you're small enough, for free.
And Carl, I know he's here. Come on down. There he is. Okay.
really quickly on the Cincinnati AI Catalyst. We've chartered all 4 of our projects, so we've got teams moving forward in workforce development and inclusion, bringing AI education curriculum into the region, risk evaluation that's ultimately going to lead to a testing center against risk, AI risk in the region. And our newest one is AI first, AI enabled startup support. That specifically is the one I wanted to talk briefly about. I come from some time with Pete at Centrifuge, and before that with P&G Ventures, and have a fair knowledge about the infrastructure related to the startup ecosystem in the region. It's a strong startup ecosystem. However, if you look specifically at AI first and AI enabled startups, there are some capabilities that do not yet exist in this region to support those startups, and several of you in this room would be part of that. And so we're digging into what those capabilities are. We're going to be doing a lot of working with AI first and AI enabled startups to understand what's getting in their way. And then we are going to be putting the capabilities in place so that we can really fill out the startup ecosystem so that AI first and AI enabled startups in this region do not have any barriers that get in the way of them being able to work with corporates, specifically corporates within this region. The second thing I want to really quickly mention is there is an informal group that has been formed called the Cincinnati AI Builders Forum. And this is specifically for people who are into the tech and are looking for a network to specifically work on AI tech, and it's pretty much exclusively Gen AI or supporting systems for Gen AI. So there's a LinkedIn community now called Cincinnati AI Builders Forum. And we're going to be starting out with calls once a month, and we'll see where it goes from there. But you can take a look at that if you are interested in joining that. Just ask for an invite on LinkedIn. And the other big news, I'll be leaving for summer. So thank you.
And one thing Carl didn't say, that Cincinnati AI Catalyst is tasked with really making sure that the 2.25 million residents of Cincinnati are all lifted up with AI and not want to mitigate the digital divide and any intelligence divide too. So it's very important work that the group does. Clara, come on down.
Hi everybody, my name is Clara Martinez-Estrode. Is a word missing there? But Clara Martinez-Estrode, and I am the founder of a marketing communications agency called the MCS Agency. And a little bit about the background of what led me there is 3 key things. One of them being coming from Zimbabwe. I realized after about 15 years in the US that the US is, this is going to be a little controversial, probably the most oppressive country I've ever lived in. I've lived in 4 countries, but the freedom of America comes in business ownership. As long as you're on someone else's time and they're paying you, you just don't have the freedom to do what you want. And true freedom in the US was really business ownership. So that was my aha moment that led me to quit my job and decided I was going to start my own business. And then the other key point in my life was a couple years ago, I was working for the University of Cincinnati. And in that work, part of what I needed to do, part of what I did was receive a lot of dissertations for a national conference. And I would receive dissertations from people across the world. And I was like the first point of contact before they passed it on to the professors that would decide who comes to the conference, who gets accepted, and all of that. Now, there were a lot of denials from people who were wanting to come to this conference from Africa, from the Middle East. And because I'm just kind of a curious person, I would just kind of look at what they had submitted because I'm like, are they really that bad? You know, and in my opinion, which might or might not be wrong, they were not that bad, but nobody had the time and space to take these dissertations, format them in the way that probably they had wanted them submitted, and give that feedback to say this is what we need to resubmit. They just didn't have the manpower for that. And so here is someone who's living in another continent who otherwise has a great idea, but no one is listening to it because they just don't have the time to coach someone on it. And so part again of when I started my agency was something to help people just communicate, format it with this amount of time in the US. I know what the US market is looking for, and I want to be able to help. Now, the other piece of this, so this is probably 5 years ago, right? So what constantly happened, I want to think sometimes like, oh, I was trying to do generative AI before generative AI was a thing. Because I was trying to take all these businesses and translate what they built to translate into something that would find a place on the American marketplace. So in so doing, what I'm trying to do now with the MCS agency is build up a platform where all my clients, I have the clients right now that are African organizations, or at least immigrant-based organizations that are they're already based in the US, but they have struggled for years to get grants, make a footprint and serve their missions in what they want to serve. So I've been working with them using generative AI. We have been able, I want to think I had a small part in one in particular that's in DC. For the last 4 years, they've been denied a USDA grant with ChatGPT and all the generative AI coming in space, working with them, financing all the analytical data, making sure all the messaging with the data is there and the wording is correct. They finally last year got with part of a 10 million grant from the USDA. So this is the type of platform that I am looking to build and to help those businesses that otherwise would not have a chance or would find it incredibly difficult to exist in the marketplace. Great ideas, but it's just the communication sometimes is difficult.
Thank you.
Okay, did John sneak in? Oh, no, you made it. I didn't know. Okay. John came straight from the airport here to this meeting.
Yeah, it's a little shovel, but we'll make it work. So I work for a nonprofit, and we have a lot of grassroots conversations. And the way I see AI is from a lens of data and privacy. And when I look out of what the landscape is with AI, I see an opportunity for Cincinnati. So I just want to share that with people here. I believe that if we're looking at all the money that's going into AI, it's a wild west. People see it as a wonderful opportunity. People see it as a place where they can make money, of course. But when we really dive deep into it, there are a lot of fundamental questions that the US has been woefully unprepared for, such as we don't have a data privacy federal regulation at all. And so what I'm seeing is that the industry has sort of leapfrogged and gone all the way to all the wonderful utopia ideas that AI has. But we need to take a step back and we need to ask very critical questions that requires a variety of disciplines. For example, I work with about 30 professors at UC. They range from communications, sociology, very hardcore IT. And a lot of these people here, Carl, with the AI Catalyst, is doing that. Kelly is working at risk. And I find it, when I look at what else is out there from other communities, and even if you look at how ChatGPT has struck fear in the hearts of people to buy products and raise a ton of money, people are not asking those fundamental questions, which will sustain the growth. It will make things more responsible. We will look at what the ethics mean behind it.
And I believe that Cincinnati is a place to do this. I believe we have the talent. We are bringing people here. And I encourage you, when you look at your business, what you are doing, look at the fundamentals of basic cybersecurity, basic privacy, the actual business problem you are solving that grants a community, an organization, a mom, a dad, a teacher, a student, to really benefit from. Because we're seeing a lot of things that don't benefit people. And I encourage you, when you look at your business, to do that. I'm here to help you. We have a community behind it. And let's go, Cincinnati, let's go Bearcats.
I'm glad we recorded that. That was beautiful, John. And now for another exciting announcement related to Cincinnati, Summer Crenshaw is going to come down and tell us about Cincinnati AI Week.
Well, I feel like John teed me up, and thank you for doing that, John. I don't think you got to see us. I'm excited to talk to you guys. So, a couple of things. Number one, Summer Crenshaw, I'm the CEO of a group called Enterprise Technology Association. We're an association that is built to serve enterprise tech leaders, 4 key areas that we're really supporting. AI, obviously, being one, cybersecurity being number 2, infrastructure and IT being number 3, and then development being number 4. So what we're really working towards is we see a big gap kind of in the market. I'm sure you guys are seeing it as well. You're here because you're curious, or you're actually an AI builder. Is that in the enterprise level, and you know, we can declare enterprise at anything from like $10 million on up on revenue, or you can base it on the number of employees. But there's still a disconnect between those that are considered AI leaders or technology leaders versus what education is actually out there for those individuals, and then putting them together with awesome stakeholders or vendors that can actually facilitate, you know, building solutions to the problems that we're solving. So that's what ETA does. We're doing it through education and activation campaigns throughout the region and soon nationwide. So with that, we had an awesome opportunity to go to MIT and be a part of the crew that went from Cincinnati to Boston. And something that we saw that was really interesting in building out community was that, you know, the cities on the coast, they scream and they scream loud, and they're usually the fastest to the mark. And so something I think that all of us left realized that Cincinnati, not only have we already planted our flag when it comes to AI, we've actually started putting out amazing products, have amazing solution providers and thought leaders and educators that are really, really pushing this all forward. So we decided, you know what, Cincinnati needs an AI week. So CincyAI Week is going to be June 11th through the 13th. This 3-day event, you guys are all invited, and our big ask is please be involved in any way that you can. We're looking for speakers, for sponsors, for volunteers to make this one of the greatest events in AI in the country. And the way that we're going to do that is based on 3 kind of areas that we've broken up our 3-day event. So the first day is going to be all about ethics, governance, and how do we shape AI in the future. It's something obviously that everyone's deeply concerned with here in Cincinnati. It's not something people are talking a lot about in other cities. Day 2 is going to really feature our research institutions and our startups. So how do we talk about innovation? How do we showcase the innovation that is happening right here in our region? And then day 3, we know you want to get started. If you've heard about the ethics and how to do it, you've seen how other people are doing it, you're going to want to get up and running and start yourself. So that's what our AI Leadership Summit is going to be like on Thursday. So if you could, go to CincyAIMeet.com and you can pre-register there. We will have ticket announcements coming out here in the following couple of days. We're anticipating hundreds of people to be attending this event, if not thousands. We've got speakers that are already confirmed that are coming from all over the country, including some of the leaders that are already in the AI space. Thank you for letting me meet some amazing people at MIT. We're going to try to bring as many of those folks here to Cincinnati to showcase what we do, and that we have not only a right to play in the space, we've already earned our right. It's just time for us to be loud, so I'd love your support. Please share, like, follow, and do all of the fun things on social media. Attend, and definitely reach out. There is a link on the website that you can let us know how you want to be involved. We know this has to be a community effort. You know, Pete and his team put on an amazing startup Cincy Week. We want to do the same type of caliber event for AI Week. And I think this is a great opportunity for you all to, if you're builders or if you're even AI curious, you're going to be able to roll up your sleeves, learn practical tools. We're going to take you from curiosity to capability, and that's really our goal with the event.
Very excited. Thank you so much, Summer. Charlie. Oh, Charlie here. I thought I saw Charlie. No, okay. 3, no, okay. I'm hallucinating. Along with ChatGPT. John Salisbury from Nexigen. He's going to tell us a little bit about Nexigen, but he also is in the MIT AI cohort and he's going to share a few learnings.
Thanks, Helen. Helen's awesome, and so are so many people here that I get to interact with, so many faces I get to see. So I'm a part of CAIC, Cincinnati AI Catalyst. I'm a part of a founder of ETA, which Summer is our CEO. So I get to see some cool things happening there. And we're involved in a lot of the initiatives in the city, which is just awesome to see so many cool things happen. Of all the speakers talking here, John Kavanaugh, and on and on and on, all the cool things. Nexigen itself was a startup in 2003. We also have 7 other startups that we've created. So we have 7 organizations that run independently in the tech space. Nexigen itself is a cybersecurity company for enterprises. So we service organizations around the country, around the world actually, from a cybersecurity standpoint, from a cloud solution standpoint, from a network infrastructure standpoint. When Gen AI came out in 2022, we had already created a smart city company, RoveIQ, which worked in AI since 2016. I was involved in developing that product in the smart city space when that was kind of the big energy product and conferences were happening around that. We had met all the AI folks, and when Gen AI came out in 2022, I immediately saw the risk and the safety aspect of AI as being a major problem. You guys are probably familiar with jailbreaking or AI poisoning or some of the other tools that exist out there. Immediately that caught my attention, and how do you stop that? How do you protect basically guardrail systems? How do you protect ethical principles being put in place in Gen AI and so forth? So we collaborate with Kelly Cohen around these types of services and are working on an AI safety product with the University of Cincinnati. It's sort of novel, and it kind of takes me to my next piece. So we work with a bunch of businesses around Cincinnati, and then we support One Foundation and a bunch of other groups in the area. Having said that though, when I met Kelly, Kelly kind of helped me understand that what I was working on was actually interesting, 1, and then 2, was actually valuable. We went out to MIT and had that talk with a bunch of groups out in that area, and I was sort of looking for validation if what I was working on was 1, possible, 2, if other people were working on it as well, and 3, how far they had gotten. And what I realized quickly when we went out to MIT in my journey was that 1, they are connected to a ton of money at MIT. If you walk outside of that campus, you'll see 20 or 30 Microsoft offices, you'll see 20 or 30 Google offices, and you'll see like 100 venture capital firms. They're everywhere. We went to one meeting, the first meeting, there were 10 people in the room. They had to spend $36 billion in the next 18 months. That's the first 10 people we got. In that conference of 2,000 people, they had to spend $1 trillion in the next 2 years. I watched the conference, I looked at the people, I was looking for these amazing ideas that were better than what we had in Cincinnati. I couldn't find them. The same money that exists there, that could come here as a bridge. So we immediately talked to Carl, Pete, and a bunch of others that said we need to get our butt together and start building a bridge and building infrastructure and helping our amazing people in Cincinnati get access to some of that capital. And I think Pete has done a lot of this at Centrifuge, but it just lit a fire under me. 1, to get back here with Helen and Kendra to help the community in as many ways as possible. So I sort of support the things Tracy's doing and all these other things as much as possible, because I feel like our region has just amazing people, and we should just all see everybody rise together as much as possible. So, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a few more things before we wrap up. We're going to open it up to questions. This was a very packed one, so we'll do a speed round. Anyone can raise their hands and ask a question. It can be to me, any of the speakers, or just generally open up to the room. And there's no silly questions. We know that the AI curious builders. Yes, Sabrina, and you're welcome to go to slido.com, use the QR code or those numbers. If you're too shy to speak out loud, you can write your question up here as well. Okay, Sabrina.
So if there was someone coming today that this was their first time, like really understanding AI, and they're like, what is all this? How do they understand more of the 101? Where do they go for resources for that?
I'm gonna let Kendra answer this since she's done 50 talks on this exact topic. 101 at AI and the best places to send people to.
Oh gosh, Microsoft, Google, like, is working with a lot of teams that are out there. They have fantastic free resources from just like AI basics to even AI technical stacks as well. So a lot of fantastic free resources out there.
Thank you. And we have one that came in. How does a great idea to use AI get funding? I think that's the $1 million question. Does anyone have any insight?
So it's start proving around in June.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, keep watching for the circuit's announcement to submit your idea in June.
Yes. I think that's one general takeaway from the MIT AI Summit is the, and I don't speak VC and I don't know the VC landscape here in Cincinnati that well, but typically, as I understand it, the money goes more to like the winners and not, there needs to be more risk maybe with some of the investments to give more people a chance to have money flow, not just the more mature exact winners. So I don't know if there's any VCs in the room who want to share any input, but we definitely, to John's point, could use some more capital to help fund the ideas in the community too. And we appreciate Tracy and her funds. And as a takeaway, I know on the finance front that there is money for workforce development and some other things that the state offers that companies can use for AI development. I don't know all of those offhand, but I know people who know those things. So come to next month's meeting and I'll get someone to either debrief us or pull those together because I know that's an important question. And our next one is Tuesday, June 4th. You can go ahead and sign up. It's also in the newsletter, and I know a lot of people have already signed up, so we appreciate that. Our LinkedIn group, book recommendations, Coming Wave, Co-Intelligence, Why Nations Fail, and Atlas of AI. And Chris, if you remind me or text me, I'll include the book recommendations that, or someone just gave us book recommendations. Chris, okay, send me yours and I'll be sure to include them in the newsletter as well. And then also everyone who has shared on LinkedIn about CincyAI, these are all just the screenshots from our last meeting to this. We really appreciate it. A lot of people find out about us through LinkedIn. And people are paying attention to LinkedIn outside of Cincinnati too, especially, we're connected to all the MIT folks and all these other things. So definitely, we appreciate the LinkedIn love. Please keep it coming, and definitely it encourages more people to come as we're growing this community here. And again, thank you to all of our amazing sponsors who help make this possible. We appreciate you so much. And then, now is the fun part. We appreciate time is our most valuable resource, and we so appreciate you spending time with us today. And with that, to the wall!
we can hear that.